All right, we are live, boys and girls. At least I think so, anyway. I don't imagine too many people are going to show up because it's like, I don't know. I don't even know. Was it 1:30, 2:30 in the morning, something like that? But I'm at work and I'm painting, so I figured I would just hobby, and if anybody wants to come hang out, then that is cool. I'm gonna see if I can get this set up just a little bit better. So pardon me moving stuff around. I'm gonna see if I can get this where you can actually see a little bit better of what I'm painting here. Maybe, maybe we'll stay like that. I need something a little bit heavier to hold this up. When do you sleep? Fantastic question. Fantastic question, penguins. The truth is, I don't sleep much as is. And then when I work night shifts, I do painting. There we go. I hope I hope everybody appreciates this. I'm sacrificing my coffee to hold the camera up better. So, I am painting, or I'm starting to paint a couple of my space pirate dudes. So I've just put the first airbrush colors on them. I'm going with glowing purple and blue armor. They're very rough right now, but so we're gonna work on that today, and I'm just gonna have a little chat about the Tau Codex leaks, both official and unofficial, and give my rough thoughts on them as somebody that plays Kroot Tau. So right off the bat, what do I start with? I guess I'll start with the one that got most people so worked up, and that's the hammerhead. So I think anyway, my thoughts on the hammerhead are a little bit different than than other people's, in that I don't really think it's that. I don't think it's that insane, and I'll explain why. A couple of reasons. One, it's only one shot. Yeah, it ignores invulns, and yeah, it's a ton of damage, but it's only one shot on a BS4 chassis, and yeah, you get a reroll, but like pretty much everything can get a reroll. So 50-50 to hit with a reroll, another 50-50 to hit. So like, let's say maybe that I don't do math. Maybe that makes your odds 75% chance of hitting. So still not even great, and I don't even think it's that good. Then you still got a wound. Yeah, you're wounding most things on twos, but so you could still fail. Might have to spend a CP on another reroll for that. And then it goes through, and then even if you're shooting, let's say, like a Space Marine Dreadnought, like the Redemptor Dreadnought or a Baby Knight, it still doesn't one-shot it. It still leaves it on one wound. So you still got to finish it off with something else. So, yeah, it's a big shot, but it's still got a hit, which isn't guaranteed. It's still got a wound, which isn't guaranteed. And then for a lot of the things it's shooting at, it still doesn't even just, like, outright kill it. It's going to leave it on 1 or 2 or 3 wounds. And like the ignoring invuln, I'm not gonna lie, like that's pretty great. But like, for example, let's compare it to like the guard tank commander Lehman Russ, right? He can have he could have 4 multi-melta shots if he wanted to, or he and plus a heavy bolter plus his big turret weapon. They hit on threes. They can get reroll ones. They can double shoot their main gun if they move within half. So the actual damage potential of that tank is like double or even triple the hammerhead. And it's got some drawbacks as well. So it can actually do way more damage, and it's more accurate, and it's got way more shots and way more guns. So it's got that, if you miss one shot or a couple shots, you still have a bunch more that can hit and do something. Whereas the hammerhead is all or nothing. You miss, you're done. It does nothing. You miss a couple with the Lehman Russ, it might still get the job done. But it's got a shorter range, so that's the trade-off. So, but I mean, nobody's out here saying, "Oh, tank commanders are overpowered" or "tank commanders are broken." But I've seen a lot of that with the hammerhead. So I don't know. I guess that's just how I look at it. I'm like, yeah, it's a good it's not even, I wouldn't even call it like, I don't even know if I would call it good, but like it's a cool weapon. It's a cool gun. And I'm glad that it does a lot of damage, but I don't think it's broken. Certainly not compared to some other things that are a lot more reliable and have a much higher damage potential. And that's the same. The same thing goes with that Storm Surge. Like, it's a super heavy tank. It has no melee ability. So yeah, of course it's one big shot is going to be pretty crazy because that's all it has is one big shot. Um, like, I don't know what people were expecting, but like same thing. Like a knight, some of the big knight guns can potentially do just as much damage or more in some cases if you're talking like a knight castellan or whatever. Yeah. Sorry, Penguin. I didn't see your comment there. Yeah, the Storm Surge has a good amount of guns. Also, I'm not gonna lie, he's got lots of little guns as well. But so like, let's say, I think in the leaks they were putting him at like 400 points, give or take. So he's approximately like what a knight costs. So what's the shooty version of the normal knight? I forget which type it's called, but so it could have the rapid fire battle cannon in one hand, the big Gatling gun in the other hand. It's going to have a heavy flamer on that one, a heavy stubber on the other one. It's got an inbuilt heavy stubber, and then it can have like rockets on the top. So it's got like 5 guns as well. I don't think any of them are quite as crazy as the Storm Surge's main gun, but like all added up, they probably do a similar amount of damage, and then that knight actually has more wounds, and it's quite good in melee still with its stomps, whereas the Storm Surge can't do anything in melee at all. So, and like I said, I'm not saying the Storm Surge is not good. It certainly seems like it's gotten a lot better. I just don't think it's as crazy as some or like broken. And because again, it's a really big crazy shot, but it's only 2 shots, so you can very well miss 1 or 2 of those shots sometimes, and then it's not doing anything with that gun anyway. But that's just my thoughts on that. But who even cares about that stuff? All right, the real good thing about these leaks, and I don't know if you saw this, Penguins, but the Kroot got some love this time. Finally, there was so many things that made me happy with the leaks I saw for Kroot. I was the closest I've ever come to like genuinely like skipping around being happy about like Warhammer rules. Yeah, me too. Yeah, like I'm assuming you must have seen everything I saw. I don't even know what's got me the most excited. One, that our shapers are HQs. That's awesome. You can finally run an all crew army if you want to, led by our shapers. The buff that the shapers can give, I think it's a relic, I believe they can take, that gives like +1 attack and +1 strength to a crew unit. That's really cool. The buffs to the carnivores are really good, getting AP 1 and 2 attacks. The hounds got an extra attack, and they can pre-game move just like the crew always could, like the carnivores always could. The Krootoks are legit fighters now. They used to have a good strat called Rampaging Beasts that gave them a decent fighting profile, but now they just have it. Yeah, I love yeah. So I know you're a fan of my Krootoks, Penguins. I saw that news and I instantly was like, okay, I guess I have to make 6 more now. I was like, oh, okay, they're really good now. Okay, because yeah, they're like the perfect. Not like they're not overpowered. They're not as good as some other factions, melee, but they're that just good enough to protect your guns and stuff, to where I think that they will see, like, I think that they have a good role to fill. I think they'll be a lot of fun. I love how they feel, but yeah, I like how their gun is like surprisingly long range to a lot of people, and it's like pretty decent. It's not a bad gun at all. So like even when they're at the back, they're still like plinking some shots away, and then when they close in, they're pretty decent in melee. They're fairly fast. They've got like an annoying amount of wounds. They can be like a good roadblock unit in that way. Yeah, I really enjoy them as well, quite a bit. So sorry, I haven't been talking about my painting at all. I'm just working out how I'm gonna do the blue. So I'm just experimenting. I've got a gray, a grayish blue, and a bright blue here, and I'm just gonna be kind of freely mixing these, coming up with a good color here. The colors, if you needed to know, are Dawnstone, Dark Reaper, and Thousand Sun Blue. So I just put a little bit of Thousand Sun Blue on him. I don't know how well you can see that, but it went over the airbrushed blue quite well. It just kind of brightened it up a little bit. So now I'm going to be going and like muddying it up a little with this, with the other two here, and see how I like that, see how that looks. But yeah, I'm super excited for what I've seen so far. It's honestly more than I had hoped for with the crew. Oh, and like not even just the crew. Like I don't know if you saw, but they made Commander Farsight into just like an absolute monster. Like he's like up there with a good Space Marine character now for sure. He's like damage. He's got two different profiles. He can be like damage 10, -4 flat 3 damage, I think, with like 5 attacks, or he can do like a sweep attack where he gets ×2. So that's pretty wild. And then if you give the Onager Gauntlet to a commander now, it's actually all of his attacks and not just one. So, and it's like flat 3 damage and like strength 12 or something. So he's like quite a good fighter now. So I'm pretty pumped. Pretty pumped. What was that? Sorry, Mr. Oscar. I thought I saw a sept that, yes, yeah, there's, it's, oh, what is it? I think it's Daleth. Sept. I could be wrong on that. I think it's Daleth Sept. And they let all auxiliary units use the Montka Kauyan, which is normally locked to just the actual Tau. So that's actually pretty huge, because I don't know if you saw all the buffs that gives, but it gives things like letting you count as stationary even though you moved. It lets you, what does it do? I think one lets you like fall back and shoot. But yeah, they're all like pretty solid buffs to be able to just hand that out. And then there's a warlord trait or a relic for that same sept that lets you use the marker lights with auxiliaries, which is another thing they normally can't use. So that's pretty cool, because it looks like marker lights are just like a flat like +1 to hit now. So you can have your Kroot and your Krootox hitting on 3s, which would be pretty sweet. Threes, and then probably rerolling 1s. I use 70% of the set will be. will be a hard... I use 75% creep, so the sept will be a hard choice now. Yeah, because the thing with that sept is, I think they've pretty much made it so it's like that sept is like the auxiliary sept. So it pretty much, I don't think there's too much buffs for things that aren't auxiliaries. So if you were trying to run more other Tau stuff with them, you might be missing out a little bit by taking it. Would be what I would take from that. But like I said, the buffs I saw, honestly, the buffs, because I'm right there with you. I'm like, I run mostly crew, so I'll probably just be taking that one most of the time. But the buffs I saw to Farsight made him look so cool and like such a scary fighter that it made me really excited to play him, honestly. So I would say to you, if you want to do something fun, kit bash yourself a giant epic Kroot Farsight model. And so then if you want to do something different, like run more suits and stuff, or more Tau stuff, run Farsight Enclaves. Still, you can still bring all your Kroot with Farsight Enclaves. And then you'll have this awesome melee character to lead your forces and be your centerpiece unit there. So, sorry, and I think what I've arrived at is like a 50-50 mix of the Thousand Suns blue and the Dawnstone, giving me this kind of a pale bluish tone. And I think that's going to be like the main color for this, for the armor bits. I'm going to go back and do like the cloth underneath a different color. But so I'm just going to brighten that up a little bit more. I'm doing this in more of like a grimdark style. I'm trying to do my first army that doesn't really use too much edge highlighting and stuff. So I'm doing more like a stippling, like where you just kind of dab and kind of freely mix the colors that way. But it's interesting. I'm not super duper used to it. I might still do a little bit of an edge highlight here and there, but said I'm going to try not to go too hard at it. I really enjoy this pink color that I've got going on them. It's the first one of my armies that has that. I had a little bit of a purple with my Tyranids, but it was nowhere near this light. Just kind of dabbing that all over. Hey, I got my first Slanesh bot. That's like a sign of YouTube success, right? And I have, I'm too small to have any sort of a chat moderator or something, so I'm powerless against these. So that's why I set all my content to be not for kids, because I don't know when or if I'll ever bother moderating anything. So you guys are just gonna have to be adults and deal with that every once in a while. I think probably, because I can't keep up with it. Hey, I don't know how to do it, but if I ever do need or want a moderator, the job's yours if you want, Penguins, because you're always here. So I don't really know how that would work, but maybe if you do, let me know. So for some of the little like metal-y bits on his armor, like on his gas mask and stuff, I think I'm going to go with more of like a copper or like a bronzy paint. So I'm going to start with this Warplock Bronze and go from there. I didn't bring a ton of paints today. I do not sleep, so that sounds cool. Yeah, I mean, like, you'll pretty much be moderating yourself. Because a lot of these things, it's kind of just you and me. You, me, and the Slanesh bot right now. But actually, on our last stream, the one on was it last Saturday? We had quite a few people show up for that one, so that was kind of cool. This one was pretty last minute. This wasn't planned at all. I got dragged into overtime tonight when I wasn't supposed to, so I didn't know that I would be up late and painting and streaming tonight, so there wasn't very much notice for this one. Which is fine. So I'm just starting to do some of the armor details with this bronze, and then I'll do that like corroded bronze paint that's so fun to do. Forget what that's called, like nihilic oxide, I think, or something. Something oxide. I've got paint on it. I can't read it anymore. Something oxide. Okay. That guy there. Yeah, so I'll do that on the bronze bits, and because what I was thinking about it, I've put so much thought into the lore of these guys, actually even more than I did with my crew. So I'll do a lore video on them at some point. But so I'm picturing. I've always said that where these pirates hang out is like they've got a fort in an asteroid belt, and the squats have set up shop in there, and they're mining the asteroids for ore and minerals, resources, whatever. And oh, sorry, a random sneeze out of nowhere snuck up on me. And so it's like a very like industrial base, and so you can imagine there's a lot of like high pressure steam and a lot of moisture in that way. So I'm imagining that the armor and weapons and gear and stuff of the pirates, so even though they're space pirates, they're still gonna get that water corrosion, or at least that's what I've come up with, because I just wanted to do that. So that's what we're gonna do. So that's the colors for the army are gonna be this bluish gray, and weathered bronze, and then probably like I'm trying to decide for their clothes, or like the cloth part. I don't know if I should do like a black or a gray, or like then go like really vibrant and do like a light cream or like a light brown, light tan color. If anybody here has an opinion on that, let me know. I'm not at that part yet, so there's time to have a debate about it before I just go and start slapping paint on it. And the cool thing is, because they are pirates and all that, like I'm pretty okay if some of them have slightly different scheme than other guys. Like these dudes here that I'm painting, which are, I don't know if you guys don't know these models. These are like these are the solar auxilia from Forge World. I don't know why that's not focusing. I focused all that. Yeah, they're the solar auxilia models from Forge World. And they're really, really cool models. They're super detailed. They come with a ton of options. Sorry, not a ton of options, but they come with some options. They're very posable. They're really nice models. Pretty expensive, but you get quite a lot of them in the kit. And I'm running these as Tempestus Scions, which are pretty expensive to buy anyway, because you buy them in a unit of 5. From GW, so you have to buy a lot of them to have an army, whereas these guys I just bought one set and it comes with 20, and then I bought a set of the heavy weapon plasma guys, and they came with 10. So that was 30 scions right there, which is almost all the scions that I needed. So it ended up, it was still, I think, a little bit more expensive than to just buy all real scions, but not by that much, and I like the look of these guys way better. So, but yeah, so these guys, I would imagine they're like guard deserters, and that's why they've joined up with my pirate army. But then there's some that are also humans, but they're like they're like hive gangsters or hive scum, maybe even like workers that have abandoned or tried to, they're like escaping their shitty life for a different shitty life as a pirate. Yeah, so that's I don't mind if some of them have different schemes, because they're all from different backgrounds. So they're gonna have unifying colors, of course, because otherwise it wouldn't really look like a proper force. But I'm okay with having some differences between them, just to show the different backgrounds of the units. Man, this bronze is not a great paint. It's like not wanting to go on very well. Maybe I'm just not smoothing or watering it down enough. I'm mixing a lot of water with it. I don't know. I don't know. It could be my brush, I guess. But yeah, not going on super great. Now, do we think the gun should be bronze too? You know what? Actually, I'm sorry, chat. I'm rescinding your vote. I decided for you. I like the bronze, because I got a lot of these guys to paint too. So I gotta be a little bit simple where I can. Yeah, I think that'll be cool. The other thing is that I sprayed wash through the airbrush, and it did something I've never seen before, where it left these like weird little like light colored spots in some of the recesses, and these guys have a lot of recesses because it's very detailed armor. So I'm gonna have to go back with a different wash or something and fill those in, which is annoying, but such is life, I guess. Also, if anyone was curious, the airbrush that I bought and that I've been using is not a great one. Are you going for a specific set? Sorry, who was that said that? Somebody asked what sept I'm going for. Are you going for Adonis Ramirez? So the septs, so for me, given what I've seen from the leaks, I'm going to say that most of the time I'm probably going to be running the Kroot specific sept, or not Kroot specific sept, sorry, the sept that specifically buffs auxiliaries, which I think is Daleth. They just have the most synergy with auxiliaries, which of course is Kroot. But other than that, I will probably mostly be running Farsight Enclaves, just because I have my own really cool custom Kroot Commander Farsight, and he is such a beast in this codex. They really turned him up to 11 in terms of his combat. I was saying earlier, he's got like a sweep attack and a smash attack now, and he's like flat 5 attacks. The smash one is now ×2, so I think it's actually strength 12. It's strength 10 or strength 12, and it's like -4 flat 3 damage. And then the other one is a ×2 number of attacks, and it's like AP 3 damage 1, I think. So he'll have like 10 attacks with that one. So he's pretty sweet. And then he's got some other buffs. I think he gives just like flat reroll once to hit. And then I think he does something for crisis suits as well, which I don't have any of. But I just because I already have one, I've already made one. I'll probably run Farsight sometimes, but I'm thinking mostly that Daleth Sept. And then what I'm actually really excited about is two things. And I'm going to have to end the stream here in a minute just because my break's up. But I'm really excited about running the, I think he's called Aeon Va, or Aon Va. I don't know how to say stupid town names. But he's like the master ethereal. He's like the head of the whole Tau Empire. He's got like a stupid little like Jabba the Hutt chair that he sits on, and he's got two guards with him. So they made his buffs way better, and like the ethereal buffs, and one of them specifically is for auxiliaries, and it gives them +1 to wound. So you could have Kroots that are suddenly wounding vehicles on like 5s or whatever, or even 4s. So like that could be pretty cool. And then his guards also got a big buff to their melee. They're actually pretty decent now. They're like strength 5, AP 1, damage 2 with like 3 attacks each. So they could like actually kill a couple Space Marines. So I've thought of some pretty cool Kroot conversions for that, where I would have like a really, really old ancient Shaper, kind of like one of the Lizardmen Slawn, sitting in a chair, like all hunched over with lots of ornaments and stuff. And I was going to have the chair being carried by like a Krootox, and then have two really cool Kroot guards with like really custom spears, and kind of similar to my Kroot Crusaders that I've made for this army. Something like that, sort of. So I really want to make that because I think that would be really cool. And like I said, then I can have some cool like spear-wielding Kroot in the army. And then I also really want to make a brand new commander, like a battlesuit commander. And I actually have, so what I do all the time when I'm planning kit bashes is I'll take a screenshot of the base model that I want to use, and then I'll do like, you know how on your phone you can like manipulate pictures and you can even draw on them and stuff and then save that? So what I'll do is I'll take that picture, I'll crop it the way I want it, whatever, and then I'll go in with a white brush, white out all the parts that are going to be trimmed off, like if I'm going to be trimming off his hand, cut off his hands and put new hands on, or whatever I'm doing. And then I'll really shittily draw or sketch with my finger, like, you know, on the photo, you know, and I'll do that to kind of preemptively get the layout down for what I think I'm going to do. So, and maybe I'll throw the picture up on Instagram after this, just so you guys that are watching can see what I'm talking about. So for this new Battlesuit Commander, they, like I was saying earlier, they made the Onager Gauntlet, which is like a Power Fist for Tau. They made it awesome. So you get all of your attacks now instead of just one, which was stupid. And it's like strength 12 -4 for flat 3 damage. So like a Battlesuit Commander with that can like really punch. Like he could like take out some pretty big stuff with that. So I was like, I need something that looks like it can like freaking punch a tank in half. So what I've arrived at is I'm going to get the, I don't know how to say it, I think it's called like an Ogroid or Ogroid something. There's two of them, two different ones. They're for Age of Sigmar Warcry. They're like big like Minotaur monsters. There's one that has like a magical staff with a skull, and there's another one that has a spear. So I'm going to get the one that has the spear. I'm going to cut off both his arms, or sorry, both his hands, replace them with 3D printed Kroot hands, and there's Felix the Crazy makes a whole line of those. I'm going to take off his head, take off his mohawk, put on a Krootox head, sculpt it with green stuff to make it bigger and bulkier and a little bit more unique looking. And then I'm going to have a Kroot riding on his shoulders with whatever gun I choose to give it. Probably a plasma gun, because those look like they're pretty good now. And he, so for you, if you don't know what he looks like, it's like a big, massive, hulked out bipedal monster. And it'll be kind of picture my Krootox that a lot of you guys like, but like the thick version. Like this is like triple thick version of that. And I'm going to have him just ripping a Tau in half, and then the Kroot riding on his shoulders with some sort of a gun. So I think that'll look really cool, and I think that'll really convey the Strength 12 Power Fist thing that I want to be using. So I'm actually going to end the stream there just because I got to get back to work. Thanks to anybody that tuned in. As always, this video will end up on the channel at some point, so you can always go back and watch it, anybody that missed it. And yeah, thanks for hanging out. Pictures of these guys I'll probably throw up on Patreon for anybody interested who wants to go check those out. There's a lot of other work in progress stuff going up on there. I'll also throw up that I said that sketched up version I did of the thing I was just talking about. I'll throw that up on Patreon and probably also on my Instagram story or whatever as well. So yeah, thanks to anybody that watched. It's, as always, fun hanging out with you guys. I'll be painting more tonight, but probably no more streaming because I'm going to be extremely tired come 4, 5, 6 in the morning, whatever. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.